The John Cena retirement tour made its latest stop at Money in the Bank 2025, where he joined forces with Logan Paul in a high-profile tag team match against WWE World Heavyweight Champion Jey Uso and Cody Rhodes. With world champions on both sides, the stakes were sky high, but nothing could have prepared the WWE Universe for the stunning twist that would unfold. Cena and Paul, despite being an unlikely duo, worked like a well-oiled machine in the early goings of the match. Constant tag-ins allowed them to stay fresh while executing a mix of technical precision and hard-hitting offense. But while their teamwork looked sharp on the surface, hints of tension and one-upsmanship slowly began to creep in. The opening half of the contest was deliberately paced, fans remained engaged, but it was clear the competitors were saving the fireworks for later. Then came one of the night's standout moments. Logan Paul soared through the air with a moonsault that sent Jey Uso crashing through the announce table. The high-risk maneuver took Paul out of the match momentarily, leaving Cena and Rhodes to settle things in the ring. With the referee distracted, Cena saw an opportunity and grabbed the World Heavyweight Championship belt, blasting Rhodes in the head with it, but before he could seal the win, a hooded figure charged the ring and blindsided Cena. To the shock of everyone in the arena, the man pulled down his hood to reveal RTruth. The crowd erupted in disbelief and pure joy. Truth's surprise return completely changed the momentum. With Cena laid out, Rhodes capitalized, delivering a devastating crossroads to score the pinfall. Within minutes, WWE Shop dropped a brand new t-shirt emblazoned with a collage of iconic RTruth moments, this time under the name Ron Killings, signaling a possible shift away from his comedic persona to something far more serious. This is the first time in years WWE has used Truth's real name so prominently, suggesting a major character evolution. According to PW Insider, RTruth is officially back with WWE and will be using the name Ron Killings, at least for now, as confirmed by a backstage source in creative. During the post-show press conference, when a reporter asked how much fan demand influenced WWE's decision, Triple H fired back with a quick and cool response. "I love the question. Are you enjoying the show? It's all part of the show, man." However, multiple sources, including PW Insider and Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful, insist that Truth's release was very real. In fact, he was seen giving emotional farewells to his colleagues last week and had even started discussing independent bookings. His comeback reportedly came together within just 72 hours following an outpouring of fan support. The We Want Truth chants became a movement, echoing across Raw, SmackDown, NXT, and even TNA's Against All Odds. WWE may have tried to downplay it, but the fans made their voices heard, and this time, WWE listened. Cody Rhodes acknowledged that much directly during the post-show. "The truth is you guys wanted truth," Rhodes said. "It's always our job. Everybody up here, everybody over here, Nick Khan, Triple H, it's always our job to give you what you want, so thank you guys for letting us know." Backstage after the show, Raw interviewer Kathy Kelly was visibly emotional while reflecting on the beloved star's unexpected return. Her heartfelt reaction all but confirmed that RTruth's comeback wasn't a scripted storyline twist. It was a direct response to the overwhelming wave of fan support, proving that the global juggernaut listened and acted on what the audience truly wanted. As for Triple H's all part of the show remark, insiders suggest it was more of a cover than a confirmation. Even Sean Ross Sapp emphasized that the release was genuine and not originally a storyline, despite what the current narrative may imply. Now that Ron Killings is back under the bright lights of WWE, the future feels wide open. He's re-entered the scene with momentum and fan backing like never before. So what happens next? Should WWE continue with this more grounded version of Ron Killings, or should they let the beloved RTruth persona shine once again? And do you believe this release was real or all part of a master plan? Let us know in the comments, how would you book this comeback story? Enjoying the video? A quick like goes a long way in helping us grow and deliver more wrestling news you care about. Next, we have the men's ladder match, and it was a night for Seth Rollins to remind everyone why he's one of the best in the world, as he became Mr. Money in the Bank for the second time in his career, thanks to his stablemates Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed. Things started hilariously as Solo Sikoa tried to play up to Andrade, Penta, and Knight, only to be beaten down by the three babyfaces as El Grande Americano then ate a ladder to the face. The six competitors dove straight into action, turning the match into a high-risk spectacle packed with jaw-dropping moments. From start to finish, it was a wild ride that left a lasting impression. At one point, all six men found themselves atop a single ladder in a frantic scramble for the briefcase, only for the entire structure to collapse beneath them in a dramatic fall, with no one able to seize control. One of the standout moments of the match came when Americano scaled a ladder at ringside, then carefully balanced himself across a second ladder to leap onto a third. It was a breathtaking display of agility and precision that left the crowd in awe. However, it ended abruptly as LA Knight sent him flying back down to the ring. With the match threatening never to end, Rollins called for backup, but Breaker and Reed were followed by Jacob Fatu and JC Mateo, which set up a massive moment between 4 of WWE's hardest hitters as the fans lost their minds. The Bloodline stars came out on top of the situation, and it seemed like Sikoa was set to walk his way up to the briefcase easily. However, the idea was quickly halted when Fatu grabbed Sikoa's foot and yelled, "Solo, I hate you," before hitting him with a super kick. Weeks of tension came out in this moment as the United States champion destroyed him inside the ring, but Fatu wasn't done there as he chokeslammed Sikoa through a ladder bridge set up between the ring and the barricade outside of the ring, which ended his night. In typical Rollins fashion, he tried to sneak in after the carnage unfolded, but Knight was on hand to stop him. However, he couldn't get the job done as Rollins blocked the BFT and hit a curb stomp, which was followed by Rollins winning. The match was as chaotic as people would expect, but that's what fans want when heading into these encounters. Having 4 men interfere might have been overkill too, but it suited this one due to the storylines heading into it. The former Shield star is unstoppable right now with his new faction, and it feels like only one person can change that: Roman Reigns. The only problem with that is he's been off television since WrestleMania 41 after he was laid to waste by Rollins. However, given their murky history, it wouldn't be a surprise if Reigns did try to stop Rollins from cashing in his new Money in the Bank briefcase whenever he makes his highly anticipated return. Rollins pulled off the heist of the century the last time he was Mr. Money in the Bank during the WrestleMania 31 main event. That was at Reigns' expense, as Rollins turned Roman's singles match against Brock Lesnar into a triple threat, which he won by pinning Reigns. That's all speculative at this point, though, as fans are just getting on board with this ride that Rollins will take people on as Mr. Money in the Bank for the second time in his career. Rollins received mixed reactions on the night, with his recent heel work starting to truly turn the fans against him. Many fans had hoped someone else would win to create a new main event player, but instead, WWE went with the tried and true approach. For 3 straight years, LA Knight has entered the Money in the Bank ladder match with massive crowd support behind him. Few superstars in recent memory have matched the kind of loud, consistent reactions he gets from fans. This year felt different. The event was in his hometown of Los Angeles, and momentum was clearly on his side. Many thought this would finally be his big moment, but once again, it didn't happen. Despite the crowd reactions, despite the fan demand, WWE has continued to sideline LA Knight from the main event scene. Seth Rollins walking away with the briefcase might open new storyline doors, but it also quietly closed one for Knight. At this point, the writing seems to be on the wall. LA Knight's world title aspirations may never be fulfilled. It's not about a lack of talent, connection, or presence, it's about missed chances, and this one might have been his last. Given that Rollins has already won Money in the Bank before and has built up a dominant faction around him, do you think he was the right candidate to win the briefcase this time around, or should WWE have gone ahead with LA Knight? Rollins isn't the only man with a faction, as Solo Sikoa finds himself in the same spot. However, his plans to get some help backfired massively as Jacob Fatu sabotaged him and cost Sikoa the chance to win. WWE SmackDown GM Nick Aldis might be in the mood to punish Fatu for getting involved in the ladder match to begin with, and a title match with Sikoa might fit that billing. However, it does feel like an eventual title match between the two men is destined to happen at SummerSlam. This would be a huge encounter to add to the 2-night event, with WWE not needing to rush into things after a slow build-up until now. The WWE Universe was vocal all night at WWE's Money in the Bank, and there was some celebrity involvement as Kourtney Kardashian and Travis Barker were shown among the crowd. Unsurprisingly, on a night with 2 ladder matches, there were a few scary moments that had fans worried. One was Andrade's sunset flip bomb from the ladder, which almost ended in disaster due to how he landed on his knee. El Grande Americano also seemed to get hurt at one point and then spent a period out of the match. After that point, a noticeable cut appeared on his back, but it's unclear where that exact issue came from. The man is coming back around after an entertaining Women's Intercontinental Championship match against Lyra Valkyria at WWE's Money in the Bank. Lynch took control of the match early on, utilizing her experience and knowledge as she dumped her opponent out of the ring. Lynch was aggressive and unrelenting, but the champion eventually started to show some signs of fire. The match became increasingly more competitive, eventually boiling down to an entertaining back-and-forth match between 2 brilliant wrestlers. Valkyria was able to start inflicting some damage of her own, but the 4 Horsewomen had the upper hand for most of this. Fans were split on who they wanted to support, and the dual chants got even louder as the women built towards the finish. The champion was putting up even more of a fight, proving she belongs in the ring with an experienced star like Lynch, as she forced her into rethinking her strategy, which is an impressive feat. It would have been easy for this one to get overlooked on the night due to the ladder matches, but due to its competitive and physical nature, they ensured that didn't happen. Most fans presumed it was over when Lynch nailed a Superman handle slam from the top turnbuckle, but in the end, she had to resort to cheating to defeat Valkyria. She grabbed a handful of Valkyria's ring gear to score the win, as the champion could not kick out. Things didn't end there though, as the stipulation in place meant that Valkyria had to raise Lynch's hand, which she unwillingly did, but the new champion pushed things too far. She demanded Valkyria pose on each side of the ring, and Valkyria eventually snapped. After raising Lynch's hand several times, the new champion demanded that Valkyria put the title around her waist, which she did. However, the former NXT star followed that up with a suplex and a Nightwing to walk away with her head held high. Valkyria has been an impressive champion, but WWE felt now was the right moment for a change, and the timing might be perfect. WWE recently confirmed that the all-women's PLE Evolution will return for its only second ever edition in July, and many matches have been rumored. One is a massive showdown between Lynch and Bayley, the woman she attacked backstage at WrestleMania 41. The man took Bayley's spot on the grandest stage of them all, going on to team with Valkyria, where they won Tag Team Gold. Lynch then revealed she was responsible for Bayley's situation. There's a chance that Bayley returns on Raw as a surprise, challenging Lynch to a match to exact her revenge. That would guarantee the title loss was for something worthwhile, with the division getting a shot in the arm by Bayley's return. That might not be the only reason behind a title change, as Valkyria has been a babyface for such a large chunk of time that her gimmick is starting to feel slightly repetitive, even though she's been accepted by the fans. The 28-year-old superstar losing her title could be the first seed being planted for a heel turn. Valkyria would thrive in that position, which would be a fun twist. Finally, WWE may have just been aiming to freshen up the title scene with this one, as Valkyria has already competed against almost everyone on the roster. She's ready for a fresh challenge, and the title change is building to making that happen. There's also the possibility that one of them could be about to switch brands, which would make sense. With the Queen of the Ring 2025 tournament being revealed, Valkyria could focus on new pastures to climb up to the world title scene. How interested are you in Becky Lynch as the champion going against Bayley, and what do you think about Valkyria either turning heel or moving brands? Let us know in the comments. The landscape of the women's division in WWE has shifted this weekend, as Naomi is now officially Miss Money in the Bank after she came out on top of a brutal ladder match that had something for everyone. After 25 minutes of intense action, with all 6 competitors coming close to retrieving the briefcase, Naomi outlasted them all to score one of the biggest wins of her memorable career. This was a Money in the Bank that featured many people with minimal experience in the match, which was a given considering how new many of the competitors are to the main roster. Things started off as a continuation of the SmackDown 6-woman tag, with the heels and babyfaces going against each other, but those alliances barely lasted the opening minutes. Soon it was every woman for herself that opened it up to become a competitive encounter, with each wrestler doing a great job making it feel like they were desperate to win. Nobody was able to get through this one without being put through a serious bump, as everyone got involved in the action, which led to huge "This is awesome" chants multiple times throughout this encounter. At one point, 3 ladders were set up as a bridge from corner to corner, as dual code reds from Alexa Bliss and Roxanne Perez were hit on Naomi and Stephanie Vaquer in what was an insane moment. However, Naomi was the one who stood tall with a new carry-on item at the end of the match after taking down Rhea Ripley and Bliss at the same time to get an open shot to climb the ladder, which she took full advantage of. Naomi has been on a great run lately due to her heel turn, and fans have been wondering if a bigger opportunity was in her future. WWE management has obviously been impressed by her work, but with neither of the 2 women's world title holders on the card, a surprise cash-in was always unlikely from her. The Women's Intercontinental Championship was present, and cashing in on that would have been a historic moment in itself. However, with a full year to use the contract, it makes sense for Naomi to hold out for a bigger prize. Naomi's current gimmick feels perfect for holding the briefcase and teasing the champions, as the mind games that come with winning this are often the most entertaining aspect. However, with no woman ever failing with her cash-in, there's just as much pressure on Naomi to deliver. It was a busy night for WWE due to the Worlds Collide event taking place earlier in the day, and Triple H used that show to set up a last-minute addition to the Money in the Bank card. Dominik Mysterio was in attendance for the show and ended up having an argument with Octagon Jr., which escalated and got physical. That led to the Judgment Day star challenging the AAA performer to a match later in the night, and he even put his Intercontinental title on the line. Octagon looked to impress early on with a springboard moonsault, giving any new fans a quick example of what he's capable of. However, as the match wore on, the WWE superstar started to dominate due to his size and weight advantage. Mysterio connected with a 619 and then a frog splash for an expected win in a relatively quick match that felt more like a way of promoting AAA than anything else. A notable situation was the fact that Mysterio's positive fan reactions continued here, which have been increasing significantly as of late. WWE will soon have to decide what to do with him, either by embracing the cheers or doing something that will get him his heel heat back. And that wraps up WWE Money in the Bank. How would you rate the show overall? What stood out as the highlights and what didn't quite land for you? Drop your thoughts, your hits and misses in the comments below. One of the biggest talking points from Money in the Bank had nothing to do with the show and was instead about the future. Triple H finally revealed that WrestleMania 42 will be returning to Las Vegas for another year. The shows will run on April 18th and 19th, which is a week later than originally intended, with the events happening at Allegiant Stadium. WWE has yet to fully dive into why WrestleMania 42 changed from New Orleans to Sin City, but the decision has led to fans questioning whether WWE can top itself from the year before. The company also made another huge announcement. Nikki Bella is returning to WWE. The former Divas champion will appear on Raw, and fans are instantly interested in what she has to say and do. It's unknown if this is a one-off appearance to promote something in Nikki's life, or if it's the start of another run for the Hall of Famer, but the timing is interesting to say the least, with Evolution 2 around the corner. Are you excited for Nikki Bella's WWE return? And what's your take on WWE returning to Las Vegas for another year of WrestleMania? Let us know what you think in the comments section.